Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, in this video we will have our discussion on a very deep concept of Vedic Astrology, which is about decoding different kinds of marriage. So friends, I recently uploaded this video on the combination between spiritual marriage yoga versus divorced marriage yogas. Over there, like lot many people actually reverted, they commented, some of them even like WhatsApp me as well, appreciating the depth which I try to reach or explore in that topic, because I'm sure not everything is as happy dandy as we see in the movies, as we see in the films about the Romeo and Juliet and that perfect marriage, perfect romance. So there have been those instances where people are in those marriages where it is like lopsided, one-sided struggle, efforts, and they were kind of losing the hope. And these kind of discussion actually give you insight that you are not doing that for a person or for yourself. It's just like that karma which needs to be exhausted. So I try to touch that topic. Now friends, in this video we will also try to do the same thing via including the classics like Bhrathora Shastra, Rishi Prashara's principle, diving deep into the D60 chart as well. We will try to look at and we will try to dive deeper into the similar lines, like for example different kinds of marriage. Like there have been those which can be put in the category of the spiritual marriage. There are like those which can be put in the category of the debt kind of marriage, where you need to pay back something in this lifetime to this marriage, to that partner. Or this could be corrective or punishment based marriages, yoga as well. Like there have been those instances on and off. We keep on coming across all those cases of the domestic violence. So that means there must be something in the chart which has kind of created that impact, that imagine you would not believe. So many times we even come across those cases. Like I remember once reading it in a newspaper, a female who is a senior bureaucrat, the whole office kind of tremble because of her authority. And in her house she gets domestic abuse, and she is a victim of domestic abuse in the house. Imagine the person, the same person who is such a powerful person outside of the home is like a victim in the house. So there must be something where, irrespective of being so powerful, she is still struck in that clutches. So that is what friends I'm trying to tell you, that in certain cases marriage liberates your soul, or in certain cases it finishes off the karma. So, and also friends, marriage generally happens when Rashi, Navamsa and the karma activates, because many people have this mindset that when it comes down to looking at the prospects of the marriage, they only give attention to the Venus. See, Venus is important for the attraction, for that romance and that reproductive urge. But when we talk about the planet which binds the marriage, which makes you accountable, responsible in the marriage, where you are aware of your duties, your morals, your conscience within the marriage, that generally comes from the planet Saturn, to an extent from the planet Jupiter as well. So now friends, I will switch to the narration part and I will try to take you deeper into this discussion of different kinds of marriage yoga which can be found in the astrology. So friends, out of all the queries I receive on a monthly basis, and if I need to put them on a category, if I need to filter them out on the basis of the subject or nature of the query, so marriage or the relationship query will top the chart. So most people come to astrology asking one question only: when will I get married? Very few ask the real question, why this marriage? So this video is not about the romance, compatibility or timing. So it is more about the marriage karma. Why some marriages heal you, why some drain you, and why some are meant to end even when society calls them successful. So if you are in your early 20s, I do not know whether you will resonate with this discussion, but I'm sure those who are already in their 40s, in their 30s, who have already been in a marriage for a decade, for 10 years, 15 years, they will definitely see the resonance coming in over here. So friends, if you are here looking for any fairy tales, any fantasy talks like 7th lord in the 10th, this will happen, 7th lord in the 3rd house, this will happen, so this video is not for you. But if you are ready to understand why your soul chose this spouse, then stay till the end. So because this knowledge changes how you see love, commitment and destiny forever. So now friends, to start with, so marriage is not love, it is karma in pure terms. In Vedic astrology, marriage is never described as happiness. Marriage is described as the rin, a debt. Debt does not mean punishment. Debt means unfinished exchange. A soul returns to settle. This could be to settle the promises, for imbalances, emotional dues, or the power dynamics. So that is why love marriages fail, and that is why arranged marriages survive. Not because of love, but because karma is stronger than emotion. You do not marry because you love someone. You love someone because you are meant to marry them, or suffer with them, or learn from them, or leave them. So now comes the question, friends, the important charts that decide your marriage destiny. So to begin with, it is the D1 chart, very first, the visible marriage, the wedding, public status, social role, children, longevity on the paper. So D1 tells you what happens. It does not tell you why it happens. It just tells you what happens. Now comes the second most important chart, which is the D9 chart or the Navamsa chart. Now this is the chart of the soul contract. Navamsa is not about the spouse. Navamsa is about what marriage does to your soul. Growth or stagnation, peace or dryness, attachment or detachment, spiritual maturity. So a person with a strong D1 marriage and weak D9 will look married but feel lonely. Now comes the question, friends, one of the most important chart, which is the D60 chart, Shashtiamsha chart. This is the chart of the past life marriage karma. So now D60 answers one question only: why can't this marriage be normal? So all the betrayal patterns, repeated suffering, unexplainable guilt or obligation, sudden breaks or tragic endings. So if D60 is heavy, no amount of counseling can save this marriage or any marriage. Only awareness can. See friends, in the classic Jyotish, D60 is not a predictive chart. It is a diagnostic chart of the soul. Bharat, Prashar, Hora Shastra and all the later scholars, they all agree on one uncompromising rule, that when Rashi and Navamsa contradict, Sastyamsha decides. So marriage problems like specifically that defy the logic, which come across as very unusual to the society standards, or like any problems that repeat across the relationships and which worsen despite the remedies and feel disproportionate to the present actions, almost always originate in the D60 karma. D60 answers not what happens, but why it could not have been otherwise. Means it is inevitable. So D60 chart actually represents, to begin with, it shows ethical residue, it shows unresolved relational imbalance, it shows samskaras carried into this incarnation. And what it does not show is any fantasies that what you were in the past life, or any past life stories or symbolic morality tales. Simply put, all the unresolved relational imbalance, ethical residue, and the samskaras which you have carried into this incarnation. And especially, friends, when we talk about people who say that I have always been betrayed, abandonment, concerns of domination, misuse of sexuality, emotional cruelty or neglect, D60 reflects that. Now friends, moving ahead, now our main focus for today's discussion, which is about the 3 types of marriage karma. The very first, the type 1, the very first is spiritual or the dharmic marriage. So this marriage is not warm, but it is meaningful. So So the indicators of a spiritual dharmic marriage is you will see the prominence of the Saturn or Jupiter. Like in any capacity, this could be a case that Jupiter is sitting in the, it is placed in the 7th house, it is aspecting the 7th house, or this could be a case that Saturn is placed in the 7th house and it is there in its own zodiac sign. It is placed in the Capricorn, it is placed in the Aquarius, it is placed in the Libra, and the concern is with Saturn ruled nakshatra falls in the water signs. So even if Saturn is placed in the Cancer in the 7th house, but if it is placed in the Pushya, it is a supportive sign. If Saturn is placed in the Scorpio but in the Anuradha, then also it is a favorable placement. So Saturn or the Jupiter dominant chart just makes it just wrap up the marriage as being spiritual or dharmic. Ketu's influence on the 7th house in the either in the ascendant chart or even in the D9 chart, that also give indication of this. Emotional distance, but there is still going to be mutual respect. That is a typical definition of a spiritual marriage. That this could be a case that your husband is not all the time around. This could be because of the work, because of some other family obligations or commitment, but still there is going to be a mutual respect for each other. So generally friends, like we have talked about the indicators of a spiritual or a dharmic marriage where Saturn and Jupiter are going to be dominant. There is going to be the influence of Ketu on the 7th house, both in the ascendant chart or in the D9 chart, and there is going to be the concerns of the mutual respect for each other. So these are the indications. Now when we talk about the results, so generally in the spiritual or the dharmic marriage, you will not see much of the demonstration or display of the romance. Like romance might be less in the marriage, but there is going to be more stability in the marriage, more groundedness in the marriage. There is going to be soul maturation, and there is going to be shared duty within the marriage. In such marriages, you will see that intimacy may reduce, but life becomes more aligned. Now friends, the second category. Now friends, the next category is of the exhaustion marriage or the debt-based marriage. Now this is the most common marriage today. Now what could be the indicator for that? This could be a case that Moon and Saturn are conjunct in the chart. They might be placed in the 7th house, or this could be a case that either Moon is your 7th lord or Saturn is your 7th lord and they are conjunct. This generally results in the form of one person being overburdened with the family, with the marriage responsibilities, and other person being very nonchalant, very negligent. The second indicator is Venus and Rahu conjunction. This result in the form of what I have seen that in the marriage, one person is like excessively romantic, excessively in need of the love and the romance, and because of which he or she has to do too much, and the other person, I would not say that is manipulating it or taking advantage of it or not very concerned about it, but you will definitely see that the love dynamics or the love relationship is going to be excessively imbalanced, where one person is a doer and the other person is a receiver. And obviously, depending on the chart, the receiver could be manipulator as well. And friends, you will see that very heavy 6th or the 12th house involvement. So the general symptoms which I have talked: emotional tiredness, giving more than receiving, staying out of guilt, fear or children. So this marriage does not destroy you suddenly, it drains you slowly. Now friends, comes the very severe category, which is about the corrective or the punishment marriage. So this marriage comes to break ego. Now the indicator of that is you will see that Mars is causing some affliction, severe aspect coming in from the planet Saturn. So a house which is already afflicted and Saturn is worsening it with its aspect. And in the D60 chart, it will show cruelty or the humiliation. So I will talk about, or I will make a separate video on the D60 chart combinations as well. But generally, so far what we have discussed, that there is an indication of the affliction being caused by the Mars or very severe harsh aspect from the planet Saturn, and D60 chart also verifying showing cruelty or humiliation, which results in abuse, control issue, emotional or physical harm. Here, divorce is not a failure, staying is a failure. Now friends, although in the last video we have had our discussion on this as well, but when we talk about the divorce, like failure or karmic completion, if you have to understand that. So astrology never condemns divorce, society does. Some marriages end to release the karmic knots, stop the soul damage, or redirect destiny. So many people rise after the divorce because the karmic blockage now is removed. So indicators that divorce is karmically correct is that Saturn is transiting. Saturn transit breaking the D9. So that means if Saturn was transiting at the time, like when you have gone through the divorce, and that time Saturn was transiting some significant houses in your D9 chart, in the first house, in the seventh house, that is a indication that it is karmically time of correction for you. That divorce happened for your karmic correction. This could be a case that you went through divorce and it happened when Rahu and Ketu were activating your first and the seventh house axis. That means it was a karmic correction for you. And Jupiter refusing to support the marriage houses. That time when the divorce happened, Jupiter was not supporting the marriage houses. So if the growth starts only after separation, the marriage was already complete. So don't blame yourself, don't be in that guilt trap. The marriage was already complete. So now friends, also over here you have to understand that the real marriage lord, when we talk about the planet which is responsible for that, so I've seen many people get biased with the planet Venus. So it's not the Venus, you have to give attention to Saturn. See, Saturn is responsible for the delay, but it's the Saturn only which can make someone very dutiful. It's the Saturn only which can give longevity to the relationship. So Saturn marriages last, they are not very sweet, but they are very binding. When we talk about Rahu, for example, so Rahu is responsible for the obsession, taboo, foreign or unconventional unions, addiction patterns. So Rahu gives the passion first and make the person regret later. And when we talk about Ketu, so we know this thing that Ketu is responsible for the detachment, celibacy within marriage, spiritual spouse, emotional absence. Ketu marriages feel unfinished even when they last. So that is the only reason, friends, like why in many cases the marriage timing fails. Because people only give attention to that seventh lord is getting activated, or it's like Jupiter is aspecting the seventh house. So because I'm sure like in 2026 Jupiter will be transiting from the 3 zodiac signs. So I'm sure many people are going to be hopeful if through this transit in any capacity, if Jupiter is going to be giving aspect to your 7th house or physically entering your 7th house. So what matters most is Jupiter alone does not give marriage. It's just like that till the time Saturn does not allow it. So Jupiter does not give marriage, it's the Saturn which allows it. Marriage happens only when Dasha activates that karma, Navamsa supports the union, and Saturn permits the responsibility. And I guess that is the only reason why some people meet their spouse early, but they marry even like 10 years after. So now comes the question that in whichsoever category your marriage or your chart is falling in, whether it is falling in the exhaustion, debt-based marriage karma, or in the punishment category, in the spiritual category. Now comes the question, can marriage karma be changed? So the answer to that is no remedy can erase the prarabdha karma. But karma can be softened through discipline, emotional restraint, seva, conscious celibacy periods, and accepting reality without resistance. See, you have to understand that marriage karma changes not when the spouse changes. Some people have this mindset that, okay, if I'm not getting the happiness in this marriage from this person, let me get divorced. Let me walk out of the marriage. So that is not going to change anything for you. So marriage karma changes not when the spouse changes, but when you stop fighting your destiny. So friends, at the end, the final truth is marriage is not meant to make you happy. Be realistic. It is meant to make you aware. Some marriages give companionship, some give suffering, some give freedom only after they end. So if you understand your marriage karma, you stop blaming your partner, you stop romanticizing pain, and you stop fearing endings. Because once karma is seen clearly, it loses its power over you. So friends, if this master class, if this master discussion resonated deeply with you, it means your chart carries marriage karma awareness. So okay friends, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. So friends, if you have any specific topics in mind, any guideline, any suggestions, do write that in the comment section, because you know that right now I'm fully available. Very soon my parents will be visiting me in Vancouver. That is going to be taking a portion of my time, and you never know, I might be gone for the military as well. And the initial phase, the adjustment phase, might make me compromise on my attention, my dedication to YouTube and astrology on YouTube. Astrology will always be with me. It's just like that, I might not be fully available to make content with this much of the pace, like one video almost every day. So do write that in the comment section if you have any specific topics in your mind which you want me to touch. So okay friends, for further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. धन्यवाद.